Live now. We're on the Never Again Live podcast with Mayor Halevi Weinstein. I'm going to give you all a few minutes to get on with your laptop or a cell phone or your PC or smoke signals, whatever means you have, whatever technique or whatever you do with this technological age to watch, listen, participate. And we're going to start with a little introduction and we'll introduce Mayor and the guests in a little while. Let me make sure I'm on the screen. And without any further ado, here we go. Once again, okay, so we're going to get started. Never Again Live podcast with Mayor Halevi Weinstein. I'm going to do a quick countdown.
Shalom Aleichem, Evenu Shalom Aleichem, Evenu Shalom Aleichem, Evenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem.
Well, was that a quick enough countdown? It was originally 30 seconds when we started it, but in the interest of time, we cut that down considerably. And let's get started on our show for the evening. All of you just joining us, this is the live Never Again Live podcast. We can be found on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and all of our episodes are available on our website, israelnow.ca. So please go to our website, join us, support us. Mayor's come to us from Toronto, and that's me hiding out in the studios. And also joining us this evening is some great guests. We've had everybody on before. I'll give you a little more history than usual, but Ron East is the publisher of the JCA, which is a Jewish-oriented, Zionist-oriented in Canada, which presents the local, national, global issues which impact Jewish life. Ron was born in Jerusalem, served in the Israeli Defense Force, and today is a community leader combating anti-Semitism in all its forms. And also joining us this evening, we have none other than Ryan Belrose. And Ryan is often referred to meant insultingly by other people as Sasquatch, but Sasquatch is this big, frightening, scary creature. And although Ryan is big, he's not frightening or scary. He's kind of like a big teddy bear. He's from the Indigenous Metis people, a self-proclaimed Zionist and director of Canada United with Israel. On Ryan's trip to Israel, he proclaimed that seeing the wonderful places from Jewish history, walking the same path that biblical characters walked 3,000 years ago, is an amazing experience for non-Jews. And for Jews, it's transcendent, and we all agree with him. We've all been there. If you've not been there, get up your seats and go visit. So what we're going to talk about is a continuation from last week. We spoke about the fact that the entire network of anti-Semitic BDS affiliates are turning against each other. They're throwing others out of the group. The national group doesn't like the Canada group. The Canada group doesn't like the international group. So just my philosophy has always been, don't get in somebody's way when they're on the road to self-destruction. And of course, Roger Waters is always worth mentioning. Today we'll be focusing on one of the Canadian-based Jew-hating entities, which is none other than the CD4HR. Now, it was CD because it is a CD group indeed. So we just call them the CD Society. So who are these guys and girls? They're Canadian defenders. They're not really the defenders. They really should be called as the offenders against human rights, because that's really what they do. They're blatantly anti-Semitic organization, unapologetic and proud of it. To add insult to injury, CD4HR is a Canadian registered non-profit organization. Now, I mean, I believe in the prophets Moses, prophets Abraham, and even the Muslims believe in prophets, so they're non-profit. I guess that means they're kind of agnostic. They're sponsors of the annual Al-Quds Day hate fests, where they described Israelis as thieves and murderers, prayed for the eradication of all Israelis. I guess they forget that 25% of Israelis are Muslims and Christians, but they want all Israelis gone. And they declared that Yehudi, or us, should be dismantled. Moving right along at the pace of my computer here, which isn't always as quick as we'd like it. So there he is, the self-declared director of the anti-Semitic organization, Fearless, certainly isn't fearless, so he's fearless. He justifies Babylonia's destruction of the Zionist regime. There was no Zionist regime in 587. You might want to check your history books. Oh, Allah, make jihad fighters hit their targets in Israel. And he goes on to proclaim that the Battle of Khaybar, where Muslims slaughtered Jews indiscriminately for no reason, continues in this era till the Messiahs complete the divine and final battles to clean the earth of all evildoers. A lovely fellow. So let's see what else he has to say. Let's cue up a little video here. He's at it again, never stops. He's a Toronto-based anti-Israel activist, anti-Semitic activist of a non-profit organization. At a recent rally, he spewed dangerous anti-Semitic tropes.
Mainstream media does not cover what's really happening in Palestine. And why?
Yeah, mainstream media exactly covers. Mainstream media forgets the fact that Jews are being killed and thousands of missiles are coming from Gaza. Mainstream media only emphasizes what's happening.
Because there's some bullying going on. And who is the bullying? It's the Zionists in this country.
Oh yeah, we're big bullies. The bullies who win 26% of Nobel Prizes, while the poor Fakistinians are still pleading for a homeland, which they could have had in 1948, in 1967, in 1973. But, you know, land for peace doesn't work. We give land and we don't get peace. They don't want peace. They want pieces of Israel till it's all gone.
The Zionists in this country are bullying, blackmailing, bribing, and they're playing around with these politicians, and these politicians are scared to speak out.
He says we're bullying Blackie and Whitey. I think that's a little racist right there. He blames 9/11 on a conspiracy between the Zionists and the U.S. government. And he says that the FBI agents were actually secret spies of the Zionist empire. Sounds like the protocols of Zion. That's nothing new. And then he says that Holocaust Remembrance Day is merely a holiday so that we can continue to occupy Palestine and hurt the Palestinians. That, I mean, that's some pretty warped reasoning. But I guess if you don't believe there was a Holocaust, it makes sense. Then he decided to get in front of a yeshiva and post a he attempts to boycott Jewish businesses, which he's still doing. And there he is again, shouting to basically, from the river to sea, no more Israel. Everything about Israel is illegal. Really? How about Iran and Syria and China? We all know what the Israel Independence Day is and what Zionism actually is. And the rumor has it that he always wears his head covered, not out of religious reasons, because he's bald on top and doesn't like to be able to show that. So we'll talk more about this lovely gentleman a little later in the program. And getting back to last week's show and what happened is poor Roger got his feelings hurt. Besides embarrassing ticket sales for the concert, no one from the press showed up to attend or review his concerts. And poor guy, it really hurt his feelings. After all, this washed out, burnt out, anti-Semitic rock star he's really sensitive. The blue areas are sections with plenty of seats still available, 1 hour before the show. But the press and the fans still flocked to see Drake and The Weeknd the same weekend that Roger Waters' concert was a flop, and nobody showed up. Poor fellow. What is particularly embarrassing, wait till you get this, I don't know if you guys know this, Weeknd got more coverage. The Weeknd is a great band, very talented, very youthful. They got more coverage than Roger did. Even though the concert was canceled due to a power outage, they got more coverage after the concert was canceled than Roger did during his concert. Roger, time to give up. Roger responded to the situation in his typical delusional, narcissistic style. And that's not just me thinking that. Let's hear what some other people have to say.
What do you think makes an artist important? Something to think about. Pink Floyd's Roger Waters told the Globe and Mail that he's, quote, far, far, far more important than Drake or The Weeknd.
That's 3 fars. That's pretty far out. And then again, there's Larry Tannenbaum we spoke about last week. Larry Tannenbaum is one of the owners of the arena, and he knows about Roger's history. And we at first spoke with him, contacted him. Mayor had a bunch of emails and calls trying to get him to cancel the concert. Larry Tannenbaum had a better idea. Aware of Waters' toxic anti-Jewish racism, Larry went on decided to invest his proceeds from the concert to initiatives that strengthen the ties between Jewish and Israeli Arab citizens. So as last week, it's still the same month, we give an award to Larry Tannenbaum, who's the Mensch of the month. Well, that's about all I have to say, but Einstein said it quite well. The world is a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil like Roger, but because of those who look on and do nothing. Here at israelnow.ca, we don't do nothing. We're active, we're proactive, we get the word out, so please join us. And it's a special edition sponsored by the Concealed Carry Talit Bag. Don't leave home without it. Coming soon to Judea shop near you. And Mary's going to talk to us shortly about the 3 weeks. If anybody's not familiar with what the 3 weeks means, you're going to find out. The 3 weeks is our annual period of solemn mourning for the destruction of the Holy Temple and our launch into exile. And those who mourn the destruction, it said, those of us who mourn the destruction will be the ones to witness its rebuilding. Mayor, take it away.
Well, thank you very much. It's good to be here. I'm going to ask all our supporters out there if you could please share this on your various platforms that you're part of: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, any social media platform that you're on. Please share this. We'll get our message across to a lot more people, have a stronger, and we get results. This is the period known as the 3 weeks. It starts on the Hebrew month of Tammuz, the 17th of Tammuz, and the reason for the countdown of 3 weeks is this is when the 17th of Tammuz commemorates when the walls of Jerusalem were breached by the Romans, and 3 weeks later it resulted in the destruction of the temple. And we mourn the destruction of the temple, and we want the temple, and we pray for 2,000 years of the return to Israel and the rebuilding of the temple. And what occurred with the one of the lessons of the destruction of the temple is that there was incredible baseless hate people in Israel. Baseless hate. Jews turn on each other. Sabotage going on. And what the reverse of that would be measured love. There's a definition for love. The opposite. Some people think the opposite is unbridled love, like it was unbridled back then. That's not the opposite. There has to be definition to everything. You just don't blanket love everything. If you love, the Torah is a set of rules and laws and regulations and how society should be. That's structure, and it's got to be an incredible love for one another, for our people, for our nation. The goal of establishing the Jewish state, with the goal of reestablishing the temple. What's going on right now, where the temple stood, are Hamas rallies. I've seen it in Israel. Hamas flags are raised. They are chanting for the murder of Jews. They're talking about Khaybar, Yehud, when Muslims slaughtered the Jews centuries ago in Khaybar. And in fact, the leader of this BDS group that has been trying to intimidate the Jewish community, going after Jewish shop owners, going to where a yeshiva is, to change the street sign that's named after the yeshiva. The yeshiva's name is Ner Yisrael Yeshiva, and the street sign, because the Jews who moved there originally were part of that yeshiva community, that they would pray there and they would learn there and they would build their families there. He goes there and tries to change the sign by calling it Ner Palestine Drive. And he's been doing a lot more, and he posts, in fact, praise of Khaybar, that he thought Khaybar was a wonderful thing. And he doesn't like it. Going to the street side.
They call it Ner Israel. Soon we will see the Ner Palestine. The light will be, Palestine will be free. Be hopeful, brothers and sisters. We will get justice for all the murderers, Abu Aqla, for all the murderers that were killed by the Zionist war criminal regime. We will see a near Palestine very soon. Near, it will be.
Yeah. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. But one thing I'm going to assure everyone: the gloves are off. The gloves are off, and we're going after this BDS hate group. And we're going to put them out of business. And we have a lot of ideas. We're going to go after their membership. We're going to go after their leadership. We have a lot of tools at our disposal. So like I said, the gloves are off. Right now on their website, the donate button, you can't donate anymore there. So thank God we had some success there. We have had Israel Now, our group, our collective, have had incredible successes over the past year in fighting against the BDS, be it the convention, where the resolution for the BDS was voted down. We had a lot to do with that. We had a lot to do with, there was a business, a restaurant that was inferring that no Jews should be allowed. They're not around anymore. We were instrumental in convincing Larry Tenenbaum that the funds, the proceeds for the concert for that vicious Jew hater, Roger Waters, that the proceeds, the profits are all going to Israel. So we thank Roger Waters for taking that step. We would have rather the concert been canceled completely, but supporting Israel. So in other words, all those BDS anti-Semites that went to attend the concert, their money went to Israel. So thank God for that. And again, the donate on this BDS group page, it's disabled now. It doesn't work. Can't make a donation there. But that's not all. We're going to take a lot more action, a lot more concrete action. We're not putting up with it. This community is not a weak community. There's, in fact, a lot of Israelis here also have a lot of experience in many different fields from Israel. There's a lot of talent here. Until the Jews decide they want to move to Israel, there's a lot of work to do here, and we're going to fight the BDS hard. We have some great people with us. Again, we have Ryan with us. We have Ron with us. Guys, let's go. Let's discuss this. Come on the air.
Hey, Mayor.
Hey,
Mayor.
So first, I just want to say congratulations on the Tenenbaum thing, because I'll tell you what, canceling the concert, that to me, what happened was worlds better, because all those idiots that went there, taking their money to support BDS, and guess what? They just supported Israel. That's awesome. Yes. That's the kind of stuff that we can't write a better story than that. We've got these idiots here in our chat, and you look at what they're doing. Like this one guy here, his last name is Yayasin, which is actually it's a diminutization, like it's a change, but it actually comes from Yahweh's son of Yahweh. In other words, he's descended from Jews. That's got to really bother him. So anyway, he's on here posting 9/11 crap. I mean, this is what we're dealing with. We got Fire Ass over there. He's like crying about how we're going to redo Khyber. Guess what, buddy? That was a couple thousand years ago, and you haven't beat the Jews since. So don't get ahead of yourself. I mean, literally, this is what these people do. They come here and they cry and they whine. They're cry bullies. They cry until they get their way, and they're not getting their way anymore. Roger Waters is pissy pants because nobody went to his stupid concert. Guess what, Roger? Nobody likes you. You're irrelevant. You haven't had a hit song in over 2 decades. It's time to take off your Depends and go sit on the beach. Oh, and then we got Baldy Furious over here. You ever notice how he always wears a hat? Always. I saw one picture of him without a hat, and he's got like no hair. The dude's like 26 years old, and he's bald. That's got to really suck. And it's funny because they're always teasing me and calling me a Sasquatch. It's like, yeah, well, Sasquatch has hair. Actual hair, buddy. Yeah, bunch of losers. Anyway, I like making fun of the BDS holes. They're not worth the time, but let's just make fun of them. There's no point in doing anything else.
Well, hey, I came prepared today. I came prepared. I got my hard hat. I've got my vest. I'm ready to go. We're good. Even a friendship Manitoba. You see, I take all precautions necessary. That guy is nothing but a joke. Yeah. That guy is nothing but a joke. Hilarious. He's funny. You know what? He's scary funny, as Mayor and me sometimes say, and that sometimes are the people you got to watch the most. The ones that are, seem to be crazy, but all that crazy needs is one person to follow them, one person to believe in their message, one person to do their deeds, and all of a sudden that crazy becomes very scary and needs to be watched carefully. This organization is not a pro-Palestinian organization. It's a pro-Iranian organization masquerading as a non-for-profit. Their entire agenda, everything they're built up around, their entire belief system is based on the Iranian regime, and from them, carrying the flags of Hezbollah, Hamas, their love affair with the Iranian regime, their love affair with anything that is Iranian, whether it's, terrorists in Yemen, whether it's terrorists in Syria, Lebanon, whether it's Hamas, makes no difference. And they call themselves defenders of human rights, yet the regimes that they support are regimes that do completely the opposite. They abuse human rights day and night. And they're just a farce. And like I said to Mayor many years, 2-3 years ago, when Firaz first appeared on the scene, that he was being a test balloon to see how far he can push things. And I said to Mayor, watch, he'll start small, then he'll continue to try and push until we decide it's time for us to start pushing back. And maybe that's where the pendulum is right now, is at the time where it's time to push a little back on these people. And it's time for them to understand a little bit that when push comes to shove, we do, push back.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. Obviously, there's something going on there because what's her name? Alia. She's removed herself from CD for Human Rights, and I mean she's an open anti-Semite. So whatever happened there behind the scenes, I wouldn't mind knowing what happened. Maybe there was a little bit of hanky panky, and she realized she didn't want to go with a bald guy. It's okay, Alia. I'm still not going to date you. I know you're probably watching, but no, I'm still not going to go on a date with you. So
sometimes when the heat
she posted something today, in fact, about some kind of incident happened in Jerusalem at I think at a bus stop. Muslim woman and some Jewish students there. I don't know the full context of it. I don't know what happened at the beginning, whatever. And she's making a big deal out of it, saying, inferring basically, how are these Jewish kids raised to do this? So we have a clip. That's, I believe, a couple of days ago. I
guess that must be my cue.
Yes, from East Jerusalem, an Arab school. Called a Palestinian school. End of the year, Sony. You got to see how they're raising kids in the school. This is how they raise their kids. So let's take a look at this. This is very insightful.
And away we go with the clip. Basically what they're doing, if you can't see it, it's kind of a small clip, is they're learning how to behead the infidels. And in the audience, these are kids. We got their mothers cheering for them, and here we are.
They seem nice.
Exactly.
It's a happy celebration.
They don't even have rhythm. Like, these people are ridiculous.
Yeah. What's funny? What's funny? What's funny is when you watch that is that you notice how they tell themselves the lie, repeating it again and again. Look at them celebrating a victory on a stage, a fake victory, and look at the cheering, something they could never achieve in reality. So all they can do is bring it down onto a stage level and create some kind of a play out of it. And it's sad that that's how they bring up their children, they bring them up to hate instead of spending all those resources and time to teach them to be human beings, let alone, learn to live with their neighbors.
You hit the nail on the head when you said, this is a victory to them. Like Fire Ass, he thinks that it was a victory to put up a little paper sign saying Near Palestine on Near Israel Road. Guess what, buddy? It's called Near Israel for a reason, because Israel exists. There's no Near Narnia. So suck it up. You can put your paper sign up all you want, but the truth is, we all know that it doesn't mean anything. Nobody cares.
There was another video today. We don't have this, but I'll describe it. The caretaker prime minister of Israel, Yair Lapid. I got mixed feelings about him, but anyways, the caretaker prime minister of Yair Lapid was in helicopter. It was filmed, and he was flying over the natural gas rig that's in the Mediterranean to show that we're going to protect this no matter what, because Hezbollah is making threats against it, and this is going to be a turning point in Israel's economic history, that they're going to be exporting gas in a major way. And those are the impressive points for Israel, how much of a success Israel's becoming. And you see that these videos, what they put out in the schools, they consider that a victory, teaching kids how to slaughter Jews, how to behead Jews. They clap for it. And what are we supposed to do? Hire them? What we should be doing, and I'm sure what's happening in Israel, the Shin Bet, the police, they're taking names. Who is applauding this? And they're in a database. We know.
100%. Yeah. Well, look, like we've got these geniuses. Like, there's this idiot here, this Wael guy again. Arafi Sabahak, by the way. You speak Arabic, I assume, so you know what that means. I won't. You can find a translator if you don't. But anyway, Wael over here, you know, when he's not busy with penises on his forehead, he's telling Jews to don't forget swimming lessons. Next month, you may be swimming to Athens. Buddy, you people have been saying that since 1947, and look how that's turned out for you. Like, good Lord, dude. Like, a little bit of reality would be nice, you know? Like, I can't make fun of these people because this shit writes itself. Like, nobody would believe me. And then this other guy here, like, what's he saying there? We've been defeating you since 2006? Yeah, well, I hope that you continue to defeat Israel like that every year for the rest of time. Because I hate to break it to you, bud, you guys haven't won shit. Like,
to them,
it's like
to
dealing
them,
with children.
To them, victory is the the fact that there's still something left of Gaza after they start firing rockets at Israel, and Israel tries to retaliate. For them, a victory is that they stayed alive and that it somehow remained, still intact. Otherwise, everybody who sees it understands, what victory is or what victory isn't. But again, it's telling yourself the, falsehood and making yourself believe in something that's not real, so that you can continue to hold on to this false, belief that one day you're going to, somehow recover something that was stolen from you, even though nothing was stolen from you, but you were told this folk tale, from generations ago that something was stolen, and then you realize one day that nothing was stolen, but now reality is too hard to comprehend. So you got to stick to this game that you're playing, this falsehood, this notion that somehow one day you will see the Jews, swim from Israel to Athens. And by the way, for Wael, there are some very good swimmers in Israel nowadays. In fact, some of them won quite a few medals in the most recent European swimming championships. And I'm sure that they will be participating in swim meets, very soon in Saudi Arabia, the same swim meets that will be no Palestinians participating in, because Palestinians don't know how to swim.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah, it is too bad. It's listen, this Canadian Defenders for Human Rights organization needs to be just brought out into the light. It's like cockroaches. When you shine a light on them, they try to go back into the crevices and the corners, but the light has to keep shining on them. Listen, I just looked at screenshots I have from the type of donations they received prior to their donation site being shut down. They were receiving anonymous donations, in quotations, of $17,000, $10,000. Now I watch border. Yeah, now I watch border security, and if you come into Canada with more than $10,000 undeclared, these guys take you into a room and strip search you. Yeah, these guys somehow are able to get donations, which anonymous donations.
It's not Ron. It's money laundering. That's what we
No, I'm with you.
Hey, speaking of making donations, at least the leader of CD4, the oppressors of civil rights, at least he tried to help out food vendors, because there's a document that confirms that he actually donated to food vendors to try to help them out. And there it is. He gave them $5 for the failed food vendors.
Well, that
So
was very nice of
yay
him.
for Firas Al Najim, who gave $5 to food vendors. I don't even think I would have bought a burger there. And by the way, he also said that Kaibar was a great example and lesson. Here he is actually giving the $5. I'm very proud of him. And here he is. He's copying you. He's wearing your hat. Again, he's covering his baldness. I just had to interject that donation and his sense of altruism and of human kindness.
Mayor, is that the $5 donation for the orange juice and the water and whatever else he took for free that was worth actually over $10? It was worth over $10, and he gave her a $5 for it. So she actually lost $5 or something. That we did the math that day to figure out how much she lost on him, and she went out on the negative end by about $5 to $7. So
good.
Way to go. Yeah. Way to go for us.
Apparently anti-Zionists aren't good at math.
Keep the change.
Oh goodness. You know the best part about all this? Like the more that we see these people, the more nonsense they try to spread on social media. Like I have friends that are totally not political people. And now they're sending me stuff like that VP Palestine stuff on Facebook where they post pictures of a beach. Look at this beautiful beach in Gaza. And the guy that actually took the picture is like, that's a picture of a beach in India. I know because I took it. Like, they're just getting called out constantly now. Like, they'll post pictures of dead kids. And it used to be people would be like, oh, that's horrible. Look what Israel did. And now people are like, wait a second. I just saw that picture. It's from Iraq.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like they're getting called out constantly now. And they're too stupid to learn from it. So they just keep lying. And then the more they lie, the more people see them lying. And the more people realize, wait a second, for 20 years now, we've been listening to these morons lie to us. Like, it's pretty funny. And then this other idiot, man, why don't you look at your bald head before talking about others? You mean this bald head? You mean,
or
you know
you're
what,
talking
dude?
about
You
this
never see
bald
a
head?
bald Indian. Yeah, you actually have a shaved head. But you'll never see a bald Indian, dude. So yeah, suck it up, princess. Oh yeah, see somebody in the comments. I love this. My favorite is the ancient Palestinian olive tree that was actually in Greece. That was
Actually, in
hilarious.
Greece, yes.
A friend of mine is the one that actually caught that first, and he got like 350 likes in like an hour because he said, the oldest olive tree in the world, that particular tree, that's in Greece. And they're too stupid to take these down. They leave them up. So now all of these posts are getting overrun with Zionists who are like, yeah, you guys are morons. Like my favorite one was the this is my aunt's Palestinian passport, and it's older than the state of Israel. And literally a good friend of mine wrote on there, oh, you mean the passport that has Hebrew on it? You know, the British mandate of Palestine that has Arabic, Hebrew, and English? That passport? You morons.
The same passport my grandparents had. Yeah, ridiculous.
I know,
Absolutely.
or the other one where they show the Palestinian orchestra and it's 5 Jews.
Yeah.
And one of them's wearing a Star of David necklace. Like, could you score a better own goal?
Yeah.
Could you please? Like you're
Or the
making our points
Palestinians
for us.
Palestinian soccer team. They show that one when they played against, I think it's Austria or Australia, but it's all Jews with the Magen David on, and they say it's the Palestinian. Listen, they got to hold on to something. Like I said before, if they don't hold to something, they have nothing at all. The majority of them are descendants of migrants who moved to the state of Israel after the Jews moved there and industrialized Israel. And it was made much more sense to go to Israel, live by the Jews, and make 2, 3, 4, 10 times the amount of money you make home than it was to stay back in, poor Egypt or Jordan or Syria, or wherever else they came from. And then, when the war broke out in 1948, ridiculous.
I don't want a history lesson. Let's talk about how stupid these people are. It's more fun. Because, let's be honest, these are the same people that posted a picture of a soccer team and then said, this is the Palestinian basketball team. It's like, dude, you couldn't even be bothered to go and take a picture of get 5 idiots to pose in front of a basketball hoop. Like, it's not rocket science.
Tracy has a good point that I wanted to bring up. Have you noticed how their keys to their homes have gotten bigger as the years have gone by? The keys used to be fairly small. They were decent size. Nowadays, the keys are like this big. It's like they went into like something antique shop and picked up a key there From, and it's like they're so big. I'm wondering what kind
I'd
of
like to
doors
see the
they
lock
open.
for that.
Yeah, I want to know the doors those keys open, because that must be
What about
some
the
heck of a door.
genocide they talk about? They talk
What's
about
that?
a genocide about.
Oh, it's the best genocide in the world. Every year they grow more and more people, but apparently it's a genocide of the worst genocide in history. They went from, I think, 800,000 people now to what, 15 million. Soon there'll be more Palestinians than there are Jews in the world. Yet it's the most horrific genocide known to mankind. Ridiculous.
They threatened a store called Taste of Israel, which is in Thornhill on Chabad Plaza. And, we sent out a notification, not just us, to that people should visit the store, purchase from the store. I go there, and you know what? I went there today, in fact, and I wanted to get some baklava, a box of baklava. In Israel, the baklava is amazing. This guy said the baklava, the box, he said, you won't believe it. I get home, I don't know. I try it, unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Go there even just to buy small things, baklava, halva, different things. But go there, and I went there, and it's a great thing to go there to support him. They think that people are going to avoid the store and boycott the store or anything. Nobody's listening. People are helping out the store. People want to visit the store.
Absolutely. And people like Ali Bayat Truth, who's asking where in Thornhill we should go next, trying to kind of in a threatening manner, suggesting that somehow, they're coming back to, to Thornhill again to threaten Jews again. I would suggest to him that he think twice about doing it. I think the Jewish community in Toronto is just about had enough, and I think they're going to start reacting back. So I would suggest that you don't go to Bathurst or near Israel. Don't continue to agitate the Jewish community in Toronto and in Canada as a whole, because we are at the point of enough is enough. And I think this kind of threats by this type of people, exactly the ammunition that they like to go around with. Where should we go next? Who should we intimidate next? What old folks home should we go by? What empty synagogue should we stand across from? What, shopping mall should we go? Like, they're very brave, where they decide to go and where they decide to have their so-called protests. Always making sure the police is known in advance that they're coming, and as soon as the police show up, they act like victims. It's so typical. It is just, sad and a little bit outdated, I'd say. They need to come up with some new tactics.
Absolutely.
Did we lose Ryan?
Ryan is trying to log back in. If Doctor could hear us, let him in.
Oh, he's on. He said he's back on. There he is.
Sorry about that, guys. My power surge here. That's what happened.
Must be
It was on the res.
Must be the Zionists.
Yeah. The evil Zionists.
Yeah, must be. They control everything, They control everything. So
Listen, I was watching a Zoo 4-hour show, and it was with a lot of different groups in the United States, groups from Jewish groups, Zionist groups, and they're talking about the issue was Roger Waters performing different places in the States, what kind of action to take against that, and they also mentioned about Tenenbaum, that he's going to take the proceeds, and they're discussing that, and some of them were saying they didn't think that was really that effective. It should have been just canceled. Let me make one thing clear. Myself and you guys, and through this new creation of an organization, Israel Now, we've been after Larry Tenenbaum for about a year, with emails, with phone calls, with a campaign, encouraging others to get in touch with him. I mean, emailing him directly. I never gave his personal email address out. I respect his privacy. But I was in touch with him, and other people who know him personally were in touch with him because of the information, the evidence that we were sharing about Roger Waters, who the hell he is, and exactly what he says, what kind of anti-Semitism he espouses. So the fact that Larry Tenenbaum maybe took his time, and just the day before or a few hours before the made that's what he's doing. I consider that a clear victory against the BDS. That is a clear victory, and I sent out a thank you to Roger, and I publicly thanked him for taking that step. I remember I had conversations with some personal friends of his, and I said, here's another thing that maybe he could do. Maybe he can't get out of the venue there. He's not the sole owner of Scotiabank Arena. So maybe there's something else he could do. Maybe he could take the proceeds and send that to different charities in Israel. And they thought that was a phenomenal idea. And they started talking to him about that as well. So we got it done. We rolled up our sleeves. We got it done. We rolled up our sleeves on these issues. But we get, and I don't agree with those that said, that's not much. It should have just been canceled. It was done, and it's going to Israel. Money is going to Israel to help Israel and to help build Israel, and that's amazing.
That's exactly it. I think that's what gets lost in all of this is people forget, one, never make a threat that you're not willing to carry out. Two, never try to accomplish something that you have no chance at accomplishing. Like you just said, there's a good chance that Larry Tenenbaum is not the only person involved there. So he's got to kind of walk a line too. Plus he's a businessman. So you know what? I think that what he did was send a more powerful message, because even if he would have canceled it and took the hit, you know what happens? He cancels it, takes the hit, and all these idiots start crying about, oh, they canceled him, blah, blah, blah. This way, not only was he exposed because hardly anybody went to his concert, but any money that was actually made from the concert is going to get spent in Israel now. This is perfect. This is literally what we should be trying to accomplish all the time.
Yeah, and, this is the best revenge.
These comments, and you could just see the saltiness. We're talking about the Abraham Accords, and then this butthead is talking about how U.S. Israel is done, the East is rising, and Iran is powerful in the East. It's dude, Iran still has F-14s in its Air Force.
They have an Air Force
country in the world that has working F-14s. Those planes were from the 1970s, right? I'm not worrying about Iran. You know what's going to happen when Israel makes the decision to shit can Iran? They're going to shit can Iran. They'll go in and they'll just say, hey, by the way, no nukes for you. They did it to Syria, they did it to Iraq, and the whole world said thank you. So
funny how Putin had to crawl to Iran to ask them if they can send him a few drones, so he can have a few drones to play with in Ukraine. And then I don't know if you've seen the video circulating of how Erdogan made it for close to a minute in the room before the meeting. Shows you the change in power. So they're not who they used to be. Russia is not the power that they used to be. When Erdogan, makes Putin wait for over a minute before he shows up to shake his hands, where the power is now. And what Putin is doing is going around begging now, begging Iran for some some ammunition, asking for Turkey to put some pressure on the European Union, because he understands that what he got himself into, and the war he got himself into, is a war that's not going to.
They thought it was going to be. Yeah, they thought it would be 48 hours, and they're still bogged down. I just think this is hilarious. This guy now, he says, "You buffoon! Iran just signed a 25-year security agreement with Iran." Well, that scares the hell out of me. Iran signing an agreement
with Iran. Iran signed an agreement with itself. Okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Let's see what's going to happen to Haifa very soon. Yeah, okay, buddy. You've been saying that for decades.
How many times it was first the PLO, and then it was Hezbollah.
Israel made it very clear to Lebanon.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with us. If you want to negotiate with us, we're ready to talk to you guys. But this is legally in Israel territory, the gas field. Yeah. But we're still ready to talk to you about further exploration, and you guys could explore. But if you want to try to attack us, we're advising the population in whatever areas that you're storing those weapons to flee. because we're not playing games. We're going to bomb the shit out of it completely. And pardon the language, but I am passionate about this. One more point. Just remember a few years ago what happened in Beirut. That's a huge explosion because of the weapons and everything that was stored by Hezbollah. Yeah. They did it to themselves. Well, that will be pretty minor compared to if they want to screw with Israel, what Israel is ready to do. Now, I suggest get rid of Hezbollah in Lebanon, stop supporting them, disarm them, and that's it.
Oh, sorry,
I'm laughing too hard.
Did you see this comment? Please do a show on the Zionist.
Yeah, but that is of Kai Bar. Yeah.
Like I can't write this shit.
They're not. They're not anti-Semitic, right?
Not anti-Semitic.
No, not at all. No.
People. Like, come on, you can't possibly be that stupid. Like, don't be a stereotype, okay? Like,
hey, I found some great pictures with you mentioned his hats. So here you go. Here's a great picture of him, and one of these hats might surprise you. The others are pretty obvious. Here we are. Yeah, but you're right. He's always wearing a hat. So there you have it. I'm sorry. Okay,
Shadow Firaz, I love it. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. These people.
Is that one of the rabbis from the Turek Heart? Is that their hat that they left behind? Is that what that is?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah.
You know, these guys are full.
We have to find out what's behind
Payas inside his hat.
Leon Hassan not posting
I'm on a call.
Their social media. What gives? What's going on? Did they have a breakup? What happened there? She would always post. I think co-director of CD4H4, something like that. And now I don't see it. No one sees it. I'm getting messages from people. What's going on here?
Rats off a sinking ship.
Yeah, that's what I said before. I said, when the heat comes, those who understand it early enough get out quick, and those who don't end up sinking with the ship. And maybe she's, a bit smarter than Mr. Firaz, who appears to be unemployed, from what I understand. And we'll get some more information about him and see where that leads us. But it's too funny if they're depending on Iran to be this next big leader in combination with Russia, two countries that are embargoed by the rest of the world, who've got so many sanctions on them they can barely breathe. And then good luck to both of those countries, and good luck to these people who are supporting these people who are going to come out on the losing side of this whole situation at the end of the day.
Yeah, look, I'm looking at this right now. I just look at it like this, dude. Like, these people, that they know they're on the losing side. They're losers. They can't help but know that they're losers. And when you look at like Alia and all the bullshit that she spreads, like, it's constantly, she has to get more and more ridiculous. Because if she doesn't get more and more ridiculous, then her own side calls her out. Like, they have that guy, Mohammed Al-Kurd, who's like a vicious anti-Semite. And a couple months ago, I saw a picture of him holding hands with his boyfriend. And I said, ooh, like, I wonder how your friends would feel, knowing that you're gay. And he never denied that he was gay. But then a couple weeks later, somebody else said it. And then now all of a sudden, he's like, I'm not gay. But all of the anti-Israel anti-Semites are all fucking, we can't support him because he's gay. And I was killing myself laughing. I thought it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, because I was like, you know what, dude? Like, you hate Israel so much, but if you had the choice between living in Israel or living in Palestine, we're pretty sure we know where you would live, because in one place they give you free flying lessons, and in the other place they have gay pride parades. Like, it's not rocket science.
BDS guys just posted, you want to go with the Notori Karta rabbi to the Al-Aqsa Mosque to pray.
Yeah, Al-Aqsa Mosque. Yeah.
He probably would. That's the funny part. That guy's such a sucker.
By the way, they are the winners from now on. They just announced it. They are the winners from now on. So apparently, I'm not sure what the score is or how we're keeping scores, but they are the winners.
Oh. Well, because they're lefties, so if they self-identify as winners, then they're obviously the winners. I mean, look at them; they're obviously the winners. They said they won. The fact that they don't have a country of their own and that nobody respects them and everyone in the world thinks they're losers. There's not a single Arab country that'll give citizenship to a Palestinian. Not a single Arab country will give them citizenship.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be kind of salty if I was them too. I mean, the only thing they ever get is aid, and the only thing that they do with that is give it to their leaders. I mean, Arafat's daughter doesn't even fucking speak Arabic. She lives in freaking Paris. They own a whole street in England. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny if you
Yeah,
look at
no,
it.
it's
Oh, and this
Now,
idiot. Did you
here's
ever
a
leave that
question
dirty
for it.
basement? Guess what, buddy? I live on a ranch. I'm outside more than you. I touch grass. I've actually seen boobs in real life and not on the internet. The only boobs you ever see are in the mirror, Nimrod. I just, these people are such
Man.
they're just weak sisters, man. Like, look at them. Like they come on here and they cry, and they think that we're gonna get upset. That's the funny part. Like they're like, oh, here's my idea. I'm gonna go on the internet and say mean things to the Zionists. Surely this will free Palestine. Like,
And then they're sitting in their basements laughing as they're putting it in. Oh, let's call Ryan fat. We got him now.
guy with the beard and
Oh,
watch.
yeah. Oh, let's call Mayor fat. Whoa, we got him now. Look at that. We got those Zionists.
I don't know if you know this, Ron, but you're bald.
Yeah. Whoa! Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Oh my God. Okay.
How dare the Zionists? How dare Mayor? How dare Israel now expose the Muslim Association of Canada?
Yeah.
They're not allowed to do that.
Like my
How
favorite
dare
was
you.
they said that we were going to go and disrupt their little Muslim hate party. And that was their excuse for going to a Jewish grocery store on Shabbat and chanting anti-Semitic bullshit because we were thinking about disrupting their Muslim conference, and they had to show everybody they weren't afraid. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, you're afraid that two old dudes are going to show up and ask you questions, and that has you so pissy pants that you got to freak out and go harass little old ladies buying groceries. Like, what's wrong?
No,
with
no,
you?
they knew that Mayor was going to be there. They knew that Mayor was going to be there. According to Firaz, they have people who knew. Mayor put up something. He said, "I'm going shopping right now," and they all knew, "Oh, jump in your car. It's going to take Mayor 42 minutes to get there. Let's coordinate, and we'll find the same time." And oh my God, you bunch of losers! You're so funny. It's pathetic. It's like, who even thinks about, like, well, I always wonder what the thought process is, that they stood there in the group, nobody came, and what do we do? And they probably told the Iranian, mastermind, there's going to be issues, and and then I wonder how they figured out to go down there. I wonder what the between the 8 people that were there, like, where should we go? What should we do? Do we go home? Should we do what? Oh, let's go arrest them. Where? And then they look on Google, Jewish businesses. They do. It's absolutely hysterical to me.
Or where's their
It's like, I'm
yeshiva
reading
that
this.
has the name Israel in it? Let's go there.
Yeah, I know.
Let's Google
I like this.
any streets with Israel on them, and let's find them, and let's take a big what kind of vehicle did he put that ladder in to drive there? Like, what? Did you see the size of that ladder?
I just thought it was funny.
Like,
that
my God.
Who cares about the ladder? Hey, like, nobody's even going to be able to read that, dummy. It's like it says "Nerd Palestine" in like fucking
Oh yeah,
I'm reading this and I'm laughing because they're like, "Where are your children?" Yeah, they're serving in the IDF, dickhead. That's why.
No, we don't teach our children to hate. We don't take them out into the streets and teach them to hate other people. Our children, they're learning to love, humankind. They're learning to be good people. They're learning to contribute to society. We don't teach them to go out there and hate. That's the difference between us and you. You bring your children out, you put them right in the forefront, you teach them to hate, you teach them to say all these terrible words, all these terrible slogans, and then you cry, "Oh, Mayor came out against children." No, you put in the children in the front line. We don't do that. We're men. We come ourselves. We leave our children at home. That's not what children need to be.
Yeah, you ever notice like
Ridiculous.
They show up to like anti-Israel like nonsense and they're pushing a stroller? Like who does that? What's wrong with
And then while they're smoking a cigarette and burning the Israeli flag, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you teaching? I have to tell you, I've been doing this now for 30 plus years. I've never been in an event anywhere in Winnipeg, Toronto, Saskatchewan, Alberta. I've been all over. I've been in where Jews, the decide to burn a Palestinian flag as part of their pro-Israel event. I have not been in one yet. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. No,
Big
I
difference.
always ask everybody. You know how they always say
Well, one of the guys
anti-Zionism
says,
isn't anti-Semitism.
that line wasn't written to stay there, but only for media purposes. Only for the pro-Hamas.
Which media? Which media? The Iranian
What media?
News.
Which media?
News.
Literally, there was nothing about it on
Right.
mainstream media because the mainstream media was like, meh. Like, oh my goodness.
Take off the hat. I'm too hot with the hat.
Yeah.
Media, but that's the media that I'm telling you again, that's the media they're talking about, the Iranian media. And then Firaz will go on, a 5-minute dissertation about why he put the sign up. And then, an anonymous donation of $17,000 comes in on the back end. And off we go and continue doing the stupidity that we're doing. It's ridiculous.
Now these people are like there's clearly people that are laundering money through CD4H or whatever the hell they are called, and you know what? Them and CJPME, all of these organizations, they need to have somebody dig into this because I'm telling you right now, like there's clearly something going on here that's doesn't pass the smell test, and it's not just the fact that none of these idiots shower and they all smell like goats. I mean, the truth of the matter is there's something fishy going on.
Absolutely.
You guys are afraid to come talk to us. If you had courage and confidence in your viewpoint, you would come debate us in person. I'm going to make you a challenge right now, Al Hubayet. The next time I'm in Toronto, I will post, and any of you morons that want to come and debate me in person, feel fucking free. All right? I've debated people like Eve Engler, and I shit-canned his sorry ass. I'm not afraid of some little moron hiding somewhere that thinks he hates Jews and he wants to come and debate the big bad Ryan. But let's have a real debate. Let's get an actual moderator, and we'll come up with some actual topics. And when I'm done, you're going to say the same thing I tell all of you. I could literally eat alphabet soup and shit a better argument than you could ever make. Idiots. So yeah, open challenge. There you go, bud. Open challenge. Anytime. You name the place, I'll do my best to get there. I come to Toronto usually every couple months. Inshallah. Allah has nothing to do with it, buddy. But I'll help set up your meeting if you want.
You're never going to come and debate. You're not even for a second.
Say that.
They'll talk big.
We're done debating. I like that.
That Kaibar was a wonderful thing.
Yeah, there you go. That actually is the best answer.
Yeah. What was that? What was the music there? That was pretty good. We want.
Maybe.
But we want mayor. You're nobody, Ryan.
Okay. Fair enough.
You got mayor.
Nobody.
You got. Hey, mayor. Mayor, when are you going back to Israel? Yeah, they want mayor. Mayor, when are you going back to Israel? We got some time before. We should do it as a fundraiser.
A little bit of time, like September, and I'm going back in September.
We should do it as a fundraiser. A ladder match. And on the top will be near Israel, Palestine, and you and Firaz, and let's see who gets the first sign. Idiots.
So apparently Al Hubayet is one of the people
Listen
that
up, some of these.
That's probably Firaz. He just doesn't want. Yeah, he just doesn't want it to know it's him. I was thinking about it all along. It must be Firaz. Yeah, hey Firaz.
You okay, little guy? You want a soda?
I put Zundel out of business.
Yeah, I know. Apparently, these people don't know how to Google.
They want to meet you somewhere where you're going to be comfortable. This is getting better and better. I love it. Keep going. Tell us more. Yeah.
A guy that goes face to face with actual Nazis is going to be afraid of a bunch of fucking toddlers, I'm sure.
Cafe.
Yeah. Oh, listen, this show.
We can't make this stuff up. I mean, they literally are better at making fun of themselves than we are. It's kind of making me sad.
You could have met at the concert.
Yeah. I think maybe they want to take you on a date.
Are they gonna, wear hard hats?
Yeah. Wear hard hats, put up signs,
Well. Look,
Oh, come.
instead of aroma, it'll say
Like I said from the
China
start.
or something. You know.
No, that wasn't a no by Mayor. That was
We're
a
taking this
very
down
affirmative
because
yes.
Dave isn't tolerating anti-Semitism in the community are over. We're taking it to surprise.
Yep.
That's it.
This is too funny. You can
But
only
you
speak.
know what's funny?
when-
They don't
We're
want
gonna be
me.
happy
You know
about
what? It's funny. They don't want me, which makes me kind of sad. You know, I'm a very
Yeah.
sensitive person, sensitive Sasquatch, and it's the reality is they know that they don't want to
Been on
get
for
made
about an
fun
hour.
of by a dude that looks like a shaved monkey. Like the truth is, they know that they can't debate me. I mean, it would be so one-sided that it would be ridiculous because it would be like for me having a football game against children. Like it wasn't very much fun. So it's kind of sad, you know. Like anyway, the challenge is out there for any of you anti-Israel fuckwits. You know, feel free to get at me. You know how to message me. I can tell by my Facebook private messages that you know how to message me. So feel free to message me a time and a place. We'll figure it out.
Oh. So, did you see Faraz would drive tutorial, but he spent his last $5 at food vendors.
Oh, I like this. Ryan, no offense. I just heard of you today. Oh, okay, sure you did.
Oh,
Yeah.
they do
Why
some
don't you
research.
talk
The
to your
research.
friend? You know who I am.
Oh, guys, this was a great show.
Yeah, it was a good time, but you know what? We should probably knock it off now. I guess it's 7:16 here, so.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
got contacted by a group. For some reason, I can't show the chat.
I guess
on
our
the screen.
doctor has a song to conclude
Some
the show
group
with.
who are calling themselves the Rapistinians have submitted the prototype of a song they're working on. It's not done yet. They warned me. So just to show, I showed the little promo here. That's the composer. She's the composer of the upcoming Canadian BDS choir, the Rapistinians. Okay.
Oh
Without
my
any further ado,
God.
let me put on the music, and you'll hear it's just a few verses of it. Now, it was inspired by the attack of the Israeli restaurants where they were driving away, and the Rapistinian composer here wasn't with them, and she kind of got a little scared, so she poetically wrote the
Oh my Lord. Oh my God. Oh.
Okay, fire it up.
Hang on one second.
Oh.
It's pretty good. So first of all, we need to put on the music that she sent me.
Oh, no.
Oh my God.
There's the music. Okay. And without any further ado, it's the BDS choir, and we call them the Rapistinians. So again, this is a work in progress, so don't be too critical.
لحظة لحظة Naveed, let me in.
Not fun. Okay,
لحظة لحظة Naveed, let me in.
Next verse goes like this.
لحظة لحظة
Okay, and
Naveed, let me in.
that's a good beat. So it's not fun. Let me in.
Naveed, let me in.
Okay, that's long enough.
Okay.
I wonder. I have one question. When she was saying Nakba, Nadiv let me in, was she afraid that there was going to be a Nakba happening to her? Is that what the Nakba is?
Naveed let me in. Is everybody in the car except her? She realized she's surrounded by a bunch of us Zionists, and she's not in the car. So she's yelling, Nakba, which has nothing to do with the incident.
She didn't know what to scream. Nakba, somebody help me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
All right, fellas. Well, it was
all
fun.
right. Let's do it. Let's wrap her up, my friends.
All right, I've only got one thing to say. I think it's pretty obvious. These guys are really they're boring. Like at this point, it's always the same thing. They're always crying and whining. They're always talking about the Zionists like they, some 1990s TV movie. Like it's ridiculous, dude. Like we know you're talking about Jews. Just say Jews. We don't care. Like just be yourself. We know you hate Jews. And then this idiot, your Nakba is coming soon. Happy Nakba Day, buddy. Happy Nakba Day. You know, I hope Israel has a shitload more Nakbas. I'll tell you that right now. Because like, for what you think are Nakbas, we think is pretty good. You know. No,
Oh
we're
my
making a
gosh.
show about you. No, dude, we're making fun of you. There's a difference. You're not really worth it. Like this is kind of. I'm having fun just because I do like to make fun of idiots. It's fun. But like my dad says, it's like poking a moron with a stick. Pretty soon you get bored because you poke the moron with a stick and you realize this is a moron and he doesn't even realize I'm poking him with a stick. Like it's not that. It's fun the first 2 or 3 pokes. That's it. But anyway, I'm having a good time there. It's good to see you, my friend.
Absolutely.
Ron, it's good to see you. Doc, as always.
Yeah, you too.
Always.
The show is over. What a Nakba.
I love it. Dude, I live on a ranch. Are you trying to help me? Yes. We actually milk cows. Something we do here on the ranch. Idiot.
Nakba, Navid, let me in. We should put it on a shirt. I swear to you.
This is my
my
jihad.
gosh.
My son is my jihad. You guys want to go around the room with final comments? We'll play Hatikva, and we'll see you next week.
Oh,
I like the Hatikva. All right, I'm out, guys. Have a good one.
yeah. Oh, all I have to say
Brian,
is
thanks very much.
Rapistinians, my friend. Rapistinians. I love it. Oh, what a show. Listen, these guys are just expose themselves every day for the anti-Semitic hate that they have towards the Jewish community. They're not attacking Israel. They're attacking the Jewish community in Canada. That's the big difference. And they're cloaking it under some kind of rights, pro-Palestinian agenda, when in reality it's an Iranian agenda against the Jewish people worldwide. And we just need to be aware of that. And as funny as these people are, and it's fun to make fun of them, we also need to start pushing back and recognizing that it's time for us to take the offensive. And again, Rapistinians, I love that. Oh, that made my day. Thank you.
Mayor, last comment, and then Hatikva.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, look, we still have a lot of work to do, and enjoy. Let's get the job done.
Yeah, and I see that Firaz finally joined us a bit late to the show, but thanks, Firaz, for coming. All right, let's do it. Good
Okay.
doctor. Everybody should stand.
נפש יהודי ותן מזרח קדימה
עין לציון צופיה עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו התקווה בשנות הבאים להיות החופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון ירושלים להיות החופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון ירושלים
Yaseh shal, yaseh shal, yaseh shal, yaseh shal, shalom aleichem.